I am exhausted. It's been 2 very long weeks on the road getting the new international office up and running in London, combined with all the extensive travel, and I am drained. The worst part was being away from my daughters, and the 16-hour trip back home was nothing short of hell, even in first class. It always pains me to be away from my daughters and amazing wife, but the demanding nature of my job is part of the life I have built for my family. Due to high demand, my energy company has expanded into 12 countries over the years. 5 years ago, I bought out my partner Paul. These past 5 years have been tough yet fulfilling. Now I am finally ready to relax and enjoy the success as I have hired a new president to manage the operations while I continue as the CEO and owner. I can't wait to share the good news with my girls when I get home. I am thrilled to have more time with my family and friends, getting back to a more regular life. Although I cherish how much my company has grown, my true goal has always been to spend most of my time watching my daughters grow and being with my wife. I feel grateful to now have the chance to step back and enjoy the rewards of my hard work at the age of 45. The country club memberships, the Lamborghini SUV that Emma yearned for, the private school for my daughters, the large house Emma convinced me to buy, along with all the extras, have been costly. However, seeing their joyful faces and feeling their warm embraces made every penny worth it. My life has been stressful but filled with love and warmth. I wouldn't change a thing, and I'm now eagerly looking forward to the next phase of my life with my family. 30 minutes from home, as my driver navigated through traffic, I relaxed in the back of the limousine, savoring my second glass of bourbon poured from the onboard bar after leaving the airport. As we arrived at the house, it seemed quiet. I knew that soon the girls would be rushing to greet me, and my wife would welcome me with a kiss and the promise of a lovely evening in her embrace. However, to my surprise, the house was empty, with only the sound of my driver placing my bags in the hallway. I called out, but there was no response. It was strange as the girls were always home when I returned from a trip. I hoped everything was all right. That's when I noticed an envelope addressed to me in Emma's beautiful handwriting. To Jonathan, from your loving wife, Emma. After the driver left, I took my bags upstairs, changed into comfortable clothes, and headed to the bar for a glass of Eagle Rare 10-year-old malt bourbon. Eagerly anticipating a loving note from my wife, I settled into my favorite chair and savored a sip of the expensive whiskey, relishing the warmth before opening the envelope. Andrew, my love. Our journey as husband and wife has been remarkable. I have treasured every moment of the past 16 years, and I eagerly anticipate spending the next 50 years together as your devoted wife. My dearest, you know how deeply I love you, how you mean the world to me. You are my everything, and I cannot imagine my life without you. Your love is all I crave, and I yearn to be in your arms every day. I have missed you immensely during these past 2 weeks, and I am counting down the moments until I see you later tonight. Hearing these words touched my heart, even more than the bourbon warmed my belly. I am fortunate to have her as my wife. Have I mentioned lately that your tender embrace makes me tremble at the mere thought of you? Do you recall me expressing my undying love for you just before you departed on your recent trip, declaring my wish to be with you forever? When I glance at our daughters, I see how much they admire and adore you as the best father any child could have. They love you as fervently as I do, and we are all blessed to have you in our lives. Gosh, I become emotional whenever I think about my 2 girls. I adore them more than any possession and cannot wait to hold and kiss them again. I have never shared this with you before, but all my friends envy our relationship and the affection we still show each other even after 16 years of marriage. They acknowledge the deep love we share and wish for the same in their own lives. This letter serves multiple purposes, my love. Firstly, I want to express my gratitude to you for being the amazing person you are, for providing me with the most wonderful 16 years of my life, for being an exceptional father to our children, for the incredible life you have allowed us to lead, and above all, for the constant love you shower upon me. The second reason compels me to share something that has been weighing on my mind for the past 6 months. It is unexpected, and unfortunately, it has become a significant part of my life. This doesn't sound positive. I am unsure if I should continue reading further, and definitely not until I refill my glass to steady myself. Emma and the girls mean everything to me, and I cannot fathom having negative thoughts. Perhaps she has joined a new club or taken up a costly new hobby. Let's see what she needs to disclose. Every word you have read is true, and I genuinely mean each one from the depths of my heart, making what I am about to confess the most difficult thing I have ever done. Despite my unwavering love for you, I have a confession to make. I pray for your understanding and hope that you will not give up on me or leave me because of this. I have been involved with someone for the past 6 months. Calling him a lover seems inaccurate. He is more of a partner. I do not harbor any feelings or love for this man. What on earth? Is Emma being unfaithful to me? After all the love and care, all the freedom, everything she ever desired, she is breaking her vows. I can feel my heart shattering into 1,000 pieces. Could Emma truly have taken a lover? I entrusted her with my heart and soul. How could she jeopardize everything we have built together? Are all these years of dedication ruined by a fleeting affair? She cannot be that foolish. The reason I am revealing this to you now is out of respect and a profound sense of guilt. I cannot bear the weight of this guilt any longer, and I feel compelled to confess that I have been unfaithful, albeit only physically. You may not comprehend this, but my feelings for him do not extend beyond a peculiar type of chemistry that defies explanation. He elicits sensations within me that I struggle to articulate, and no matter how hard I try, I cannot break free. He has become an addiction, and I find myself needing him in my life. I anticipate you will have numerous inquiries, and I pledge to be entirely forthcoming. I hold you in such high regard that I refuse to deceive or harm you in any way. However, I fear that this confession may have induced some sorrow, and for that, I can only hope you can grasp that this is something I feel compelled to share. You are causing more harm than good, you fool. Complete honesty. You previously lied to me. How can I trust you again? What have you done, Emma? Please understand that I have tried my utmost to keep this liaison separate from our relationship and prevent it from impacting our lives. Upon reflection, I believe you will agree that there has been no change in our relationship, and I believe we have both been content. Nothing has altered between us since this began, but I acknowledge that it cannot persist indefinitely. Therefore, it is only fair that you are aware of this. No secrets, darling. I cherish and respect you far too much to ever engage in deceit. I implore you to comprehend that my attachment to him is solely physical, and I will not let my time with him interfere with our love or intimacy. I simply needed to inform you that there is a part of me that I have shared with another man, but it is entirely disconnected from my love for you and the significance of our family. Family is the cornerstone of my life and my primary value. Nothing will alter that. I understand that reading this message will come as a shock and may be painful, but I am aware of the kind of person you are and how deeply you love me. Knowing this has given me the confidence and courage to confess about my affair, as I trust that you will comprehend my needs and find it in your heart to forgive me. Your patience and understanding are just two of the countless things that I cherish about you, my dear. If you truly knew the person I am, you would have never made this choice to betray me and our daughters. You have gravely underestimated me, and you have brought about the end of our marriage. Forgiveness is out of the question. The only thing awaiting you is my retribution. I have arranged for the girls to stay at your mother's place for the night, so there is no need to worry about them, and they are eagerly looking forward to seeing their daddy in the morning. I am currently with a friend, allowing you time alone to read my message and comprehend the situation. I will return home around 10 p.m., and we can resume things as they were, for nothing has changed, my love. My feelings for you remain steadfast, and tonight, after we reunite, I know my love for you will only grow stronger, if that's possible. Once I am back, I will be completely devoted to you, and you can once again cherish intimate moments with your devoted wife. As you read this, remember that you are my soulmate, and I am yours, until death separates us. I am wholly yours, my love, and I am willing to provide whatever you desire or need. Thank you for being the extraordinary man and the best husband any woman could hope for. With love always and forever, your faithful wife, Emma. Andrew. Upon finishing the letter, I noticed the glass of bourbon I had been sipping was now embedded in the adjacent wall. I had no recollection of throwing the glass, let alone with such force that it shattered against the wall. Evidently, my subconscious had taken charge and propelled me into a heightened state of awareness. Swift decision-making had been pivotal to my achievements in business, and now it was instinct guiding my actions. I penned a response on a sheet of paper, sealed it in an envelope with her name clearly inscribed, and left it on the table beside the envelope addressed to me. I tucked her letter into my pocket, gathered some luggage, and proceeded to the girls' room to pack clothes for a few days, as we would be embarking on a brief trip. While in the car, I contacted my contact and arranged for the corporate jet to be prepared for a trip to San Francisco, where I intended to stay with my daughters in the foreseeable future. By 6:30 that evening, I was driving my Range Rover towards my parents' house to pick up the girls. I had a corporate apartment near my California office, stocked with a complete wardrobe and all necessary items for an extended stay. This apartment would serve as a suitable temporary residence until I spoke with my lawyers and devised plans for my immediate future. Upon arriving at my parents' home, my daughters rushed out to greet me with beaming smiles and a flurry of kisses. Their joy at seeing me warmed my heart, and I found myself smiling genuinely for the first time since I had returned home. Daddy's home. We missed you, Daddy, and we didn't expect to see you until tomorrow. Mommy said you wouldn't be back until tomorrow. She had to meet her friend Richard tonight, so we came here to visit Grandma and Grandpa. I embraced and kissed them, a tear trailing down my cheek from the overwhelming love I felt, knowing their lives were soon to be altered due to their mother's infidelity. Their affectionate gestures brought solace to my troubled soul, momentarily lifting the weight of my problems. The mention of the name Richard caught my attention, and I stored it away in my mind for later consideration. Once the girls calmed down, I shared the news of a surprise trip we were embarking on for a few days, traveling on the company jet. I assured them of a fun and enjoyable vacation. Persuading the girls was the easy part. Explaining the situation to my parents presented a more challenging task. Witnessing my distress, they protested against my decision to take the girls away until I allowed them to read the letter. I clarified that I needed time to seek a safe haven for contemplation and planning, avoiding emotional interference. I informed them of the message I left for Emma and assured them that I would call her from the jet. Furthermore, I pledged to return within 2 weeks, emphasizing that this was a short-lived journey, and reassured them that the girls would be well looked after in the meantime. While en route to the private terminal, I phoned my new president and informed him of my forthcoming presence at the California office, instructing him to manage operations independently and to contact me only in case of emergencies. Thomas, you're in charge for the next few weeks. Let's see how you handle things in my absence. I trust you'll manage well, with the staff ready to support you. I require some time for personal matters, so reach out only if there's an emergency. I have full confidence in your capabilities, and I'm certain my company is in competent hands. Make me proud, Thomas. Don't fret, Mr. Jackson. I've got everything under control, and all will be well. Feel free to request a daily update if needed. I acknowledge the challenge of entrusting your baby to another. Notify me if any assistance is required while you're away. Upon boarding the plane, my daughters joyfully ran up and down the aisle of the 16-seat passenger jet, playing with the friendly flight attendant, Jessica, who had developed a close friendship with us over the past 2 years. Long flights can nurture camaraderie with the right individuals. As it struck 11 o'clock, the girls had drifted off to sleep. The cabin lights were dimmed, setting a serene and tranquil ambience. It was then that I reached out to Emma to have a conversation. Andrew, where are you, honey? Emma, listen carefully and please refrain from interrupting, as I might lose signal at this altitude. By now, I assume you've read my letter and are aware that I have the girls with me. They will get in touch with you in the morning. I'll contact you in the coming days to discuss matters further. If you require assistance, meanwhile, reach out to my parents. Good night. I ended the call before she could respond. The flight proceeded smoothly, and we touched down at 1:00 a.m., carrying the girls into the awaiting limo. We soon arrived at my apartment, where I tucked them into bed, planted a kiss on their foreheads, and swiftly succumbed to sleep approximately 10 minutes later without unpacking. Unpacking could wait for the following day. Emma returns home. I am eagerly anticipating reuniting with my wonderful husband. The past 2 weeks without him have felt like an eternity. I am ready to be the perfect wife tonight and bring him joy. His return home always holds a special place in my heart. His affection and love for me are truly remarkable. Upon entering the house, I noticed the lights were off. Perhaps he's exhausted from his journey. Honey, I'm home. Maybe he's in bed. Let me check. Not there. No response on his phone, no missed calls or texts. Curious. Perhaps he's on the patio, relaxing. Heading towards the patio, my attention was captured by an envelope resting on the table, instantly sparking a sense of foreboding. Addressed to me, it sat beside the one I had left for him earlier. With a shaky hand, I gingerly picked it up and proceeded to open it with trepidation. Uncertain of its contents, my cell phone rang in the eerie silence. The ring pierced through the quietude, revealing Andrew's name on the screen, and I promptly accepted the call. Before I could utter a greeting, Andrew requested my undivided attention and urged me not to interrupt. Employing what I recognized as his work voice, authoritative and detached, he began to speak. Each word seemed to carry a tinge of anguish within it. Despite my urge to interject and profess my love, I opted to remain quiet until he concluded. Regrettably, he abruptly ended the call, leaving me with a sense of unease. Clearly, things were not unfolding as anticipated. For a fleeting moment, time seemed to halt. Clutching the phone in one hand and the mentioned letter in the other, I stood motionless. Suddenly, a surge of emotion jolted me back to reality, causing me to drop the phone to the floor as it emitted a sharp clatter. Ignoring the noise, I turned my focus to the letter. My hands trembled, and tears blurred my vision as I struggled to decipher Andrew's words. My dearest Emma, I appreciate your letter and the sincerity within it. The 16 years we have spent together have undeniably been the happiest of my life. The 2 daughters we share are a testament to the profound love I hold for them. Our bond is sacred, and the envy of our friends isn't surprising, given the importance you hold in my life. I had intended to surprise you tonight with news of changes at work that would afford me more time with you and our daughters. However, upon my return, I was met with an empty house. Throughout my journey, all I envisioned was the warm embrace of my family and the tender kisses of my exceptional wife. Yet, for the first time in my extensive travels, I returned to an empty abode. This homecoming, envisaged as a respite, has left me desolate, abandoned in our vast home. Disheartened and forlorn, the sight of the addressed envelope on the table raised hopes of a heartwarming surprise awaiting me. Alas, the contents of the letter failed to align with my expectations. With all my heart, I loved you just as you professed in your letter, expressing a deep longing to spend a lifetime with you, our daughters, and hopefully one day, our grandchildren. It was in your written confession that I grasped the extent of your expectations of my comprehension and forgiveness. The revelation of your 6-month affair marked the end of our marriage. The moment you shared intimacy with another was the silent termination of our union, unbeknown to us until your words laid it bare in front of me. Tears streamed down her face as she realized the gravity of her actions. No, please God, no, this can't be real. Andrew was supposed to understand. Emma now knelt, weeping into her hands, grappling with the realization of her grave misstep. I regret to inform you that I cannot fathom nor condone your pursuit of another man. Though I am glad you found someone meeting your needs and fostering a special connection, your infidelity has forfeited your role as my wife and the mother of our children. As the girls are under my care, we are bound for my San Francisco office for the upcoming week. I require distance from you and our home to come to terms with your confession and actions. You may contact the girls tomorrow afternoon, as our late arrival tonight will leave them fatigued. Presently, being with my daughters is my solace. Their solace assures me they are in good hands. You will have ample time to be with your paramour while I contend with our circumstance. Communication between us is unnecessary. Hence, refrain from calls or texts, knowing I will not respond. Feel free to reach out to the girls via call or FaceTime as often as you wish. I will not hinder your access to them, nor will I expose them to the knowledge of their mother's disloyalty. That conversation will be reserved for another time. He must answer my call. He loves me. I need him to grasp that I seek only him. I will declare an end to this. He shall forgive me. Why does he not pick up? Confound it, Andrew. Please, talk to me. He must heed me before any rash decision. I understand him. I must converse promptly and elucidate the situation. The pain of your infidelity has inflicted irrevocable wounds upon me, leaving me in disbelief that you assumed I would condone this betrayal of our marital vows. Your letter shattered my world entirely, and the wounds of lost love will require time to heal. I transitioned from a jubilant man with visions of a closer future to a death-throned, disheartened individual within moments. The woman I cherished transformed me into an unaware victim of deceit, pushing me beyond my limits, and yet expected a warm welcome upon her return. Alas, I am left desolate, yearning to weep, albeit my resolve to forge ahead. I shall notify you of our return. Andrew. Emma. With uncontrollable tears streaming down my face, I sat there, utterly shocked and shattered. Oh God, no. He can't do this. He can't abandon me. This isn't right. This isn't how he was meant to react. He always professed his love for me and longed for my happiness. How could he be this devastated? I must clarify this better. It's evident he didn't grasp the essence of my letter and misinterpreted everything. I need to contact Richard. He'll know how to handle this. Hello, Richard, it's me. He left me and took the girls. What should I do? He had to talk to me to comprehend that our relationship transcends mere intimacy. He stated he's departing, and I'm at a loss. I sobbed over the phone. Emma, stop crying. He's upset, but he'll come around in a few days. It's not like you're leaving him for me. It's just a few hours we spend together while he's at work. He won't abandon you over that. Reflecting on the repercussions of leaving you will make him rethink, recognizing he must embrace this new reality. Did you express your love for him? Yes, absolutely. I articulated everything in the letter, and I meant every word. He is my everything. Without him, I am lost. How can he be so self-absorbed and fail to comprehend? I needed him to share in my happiness. What should I do? This pain is unbearable. Just get some rest and consider calling him tomorrow once he's had time to process what transpired and the adjustments moving forward. I'll be home by noon tomorrow. Why not come over, and we can discuss it then? Rest up, Emma. That night, sleep eluded me, and by the following morning, around noon, I gave up the idea of rest. I immediately dialed Andrew's number, but it only rang once before being cut off. Clearly, he had blocked me. Now I had no means to reach out to him. I'll call the girls. They'll pass the phone to their dad. Hannah picked up, expressing joy upon hearing my voice, which brought some solace. Hello, Mommy. Hi, sweetheart, is your daddy there? I need to talk to him. Mom, Daddy said he doesn't want to talk to you and won't answer the phone if you call. What's happening, Mom? Dad seems really upset and different. It's nothing. Parents have disagreements sometimes. Your dad misinterpreted something, got upset, and left. I need to clarify it so he won't be upset anymore. I'll ask him to talk to you, Mom. Hold on. I overheard her speaking to him and was disheartened by his response. Mom, he said he'll call you when he's ready to talk. Are you going to be okay, Mom? Yes, don't worry, baby. Your dad and I will be fine. Just behave, give your dad a kiss for me, and pass the phone to your sister. Amelia, 13, and Hannah, 15, observed me curiously after the conversation. Hannah, as the elder, wore a somber expression. Has Mom been unfaithful, Daddy? Her question shattered me. Fighting back tears, I simply shook my head and asked them to get ready for lunch. This was the most challenging moment I had ever faced, but I believed they would overcome the challenges ahead with love and support. Earlier that morning, before the girls woke, I contacted our family attorney on the East Coast, finding him already at his desk. Donald, my attorney of 20 years, and I had been through a lot, so I got straight to the point and shared the situation and my intentions. Donald, I need to understand the process and implications of a divorce, prioritizing custody of the children at any cost. No chance for reconciliation, counseling, or forgiveness. I want this to conclude swiftly. There was a pause on the other end, allowing him to digest the news. He seemed as astonished by my words as I had been when reading Emma's letter. Andrew, I'm deeply sorry about this situation. Scarlett and I always thought you two were a perfect couple, and it's hard to grasp this. However, I comprehend your request. Do you recall when you established the company with Paul and he insisted on a prenup? Your provisions are current, and if she is indeed unfaithful, she forfeits rights to the children and any financial gains from the marriage, just as the prenup stipulates. As your company flourished, I ensured the prenuptial agreement remained current, collaborated with your corporate lawyers, and placed most of your assets in a trust, with you as the beneficiary. The house, cars, bank accounts, and investments are all safeguarded under this trust, making them untouchable. If she violated the prenup, she leaves the marriage with only what she brought into it, relinquishing any rights to the children. Although this arrangement wasn't devised for this purpose, it seems to favor you in this situation. Donald, you're correct. Never did I envision she would betray me, and I had forgotten about the prenup. However, all I possess is the letter admitting her infidelity. What more do we require? Well, a video or audio confession from her, supplemented by photos or a confession from her lover, would strengthen our case. Donald, can you handle this while I'm in California with the girls? Money is not an issue, and I seek solid evidence swiftly. I want to expedite this process. My daughters mention a man named Richard. The only Richard I know is the tennis instructor at our country club. Could you engage a private investigator and suggest they commence investigations there? I'm certain she will reach out to her lover in my absence. The PI report. Unquestionably, Richard, the tennis instructor, turned out to be the culprit. Their carelessness facilitated the PI firm in conducting a thorough investigation. With my consent, they placed a tracker on Emma's car, installed audio recording devices inside it, and set up video cameras in our home. The evidence gathered from these devices was deemed lawful due to the authority my company possessed through the trust. Within the following week, they amassed sufficient audio recordings, videos, and Emma's written confession, enabling progress. I refrained from viewing or listening to any of the evidence to prevent haunting images in the future. Predictably, Richard had a history of involvement with married women, which led to his departure from prior positions. Being younger and charismatic, he captivated numerous women at the club, including Emma. Apparently, married middle-aged women were his preferred targets at the club. Donald contacted me 5 days after our initial discussion to provide an update on the investigation. Andrew, we have all the necessary evidence. How do you wish to proceed? Are you still committed to divorcing Emma? Without hesitation, I responded, prepare divorce papers seeking maximum devastation. I want Emma to experience some of the pain she caused me and realize the magnitude of her mistake. Serve the papers on Tuesday at 10:00 a.m. at our country club. Every Tuesday at 10:00 a.m., she has a tennis lesson with Richard. Can we devise a way to serve him too? It doesn't matter what it is. Ensure he is implicated in the lawsuit. We can arrange that, and I'll handle the tennis pro matter and revert to you. We might implicate the club for hiring a known predator. Though it may not yield much, it will expose the affair as you desire. When will you return? I intend to be present at home after the service on Tuesday. I'll be there before her arrival. Are you certain about the divorce, Andrew? At this moment, yes. However, I need to discuss things with her before finalizing the papers. This is challenging, and I hope you never experience anything similar, Donald. I loved her deeply, and the love remains. Yet I detest the pain she inflicted on us, and forgiveness seems impossible. Whatever you decide, I'm here to support you, Andrew. Keep in touch, and we'll inform you once she's served. On Tuesday morning, we reached the house before 9:00 a.m., and the girls were relieved to be home. I instructed them to remain in their rooms upon their mother's return from the tennis lesson to allow us to resolve matters. Despite their apprehension, I reassured them that everything would eventually fall into place. Tuesday, Emma. On a balmy summer day, I wore a short and fetching tennis dress that accentuated my toned legs. She entered Richard's domain, flaunting her appearance, and a smile graced his face as he welcomed his accomplice. Just as we were about to begin the lesson, a girl in revealing attire made an unexpected entrance on the court. "Excuse me, can I assist you?" Richard greeted the young girl with a smile. "Yes, are you Richard Anderson?" "I am. Who are you?" "Well, today I represent your worst nightmare. You've been served," she declared, handing him an envelope. As I approached to see what was happening, he opened it. After examining the contents, he exclaimed, "Oh no, I'm implicated in a lawsuit against the club for harassment. What on earth? Who is responsible for this?" The girl was still next to Richard when she turned to me and asked, "Pardon me, miss, are you Emma Jackson?" "Yes," I replied, taken aback. "This is for you. You've been served." Upon viewing the divorce decree, I collapsed to the ground, shedding tears. This can't be happening. He's filing for divorce. He never even allowed me to explain. How could he do this after all these years? My goodness, he knows the depth of my love for him, so why is he doing this? As I wept on the tennis court's hard clay, I sensed the inquisitive stares from the other club members. The situation felt unbearable. I could only imagine what they were thinking. How did everything spiral out of control like this? Richard appeared livid as he paced around the court, fixating on the legal papers. He turned to me and urged, "Emma, you need to go home, and I have to visit the club to confirm if they were served too. I must resolve this matter, and you should go back and try to reach out to your husband. See if you can prevent him from ruining our lives. Please, go." Wiping away my tears, I rushed to my car. Despite my efforts to compose myself, once inside and shielded from prying eyes, the tears surged back, and I wept uncontrollably. I drove back home, feeling scared and distressed. Upon arrival, the girls ran out to welcome me, momentarily easing my troubles. "Where's your dad?" "He's inside." I hurried into the house, longing to embrace him and express my love, but he rebuffed me. His rejection shattered me, and for the second time in an hour, I sank to my knees as tears cascaded down my cheeks. "Darling, please reconsider this. You know how deeply I care for you and how much I need you. I've longed for you and missed you terribly. Please don't shut me out," pleaded Emma. "Emma, I see you have the divorce papers. Our relationship is over and divorce is imminent. You should have realized it was finished from the moment you engaged with Richard. Emma, I do not share. This is all on you, so please act like an adult and face the consequences of your deeds. As outlined in the divorce papers, you'll have to find a new place to live. The girls will stay with me, and you'll have visitation rights unless you upset me." Upon reading your letter and discovering your betrayal, I took decisive action. By violating the prenuptial agreement you signed before our marriage, you forfeited your rights to our children and any financial support, stated Andrew firmly. "Andrew, you've made all these decisions without allowing me to explain, and that's unfair. Obviously, my letter didn't convey my intentions correctly, and I apologize for that. Please give me a chance to explain," pleaded Emma. "Fine. Go ahead. Explain yourself so I can understand your actions," Andrew conceded. "In the letter, I wanted to express my love for you and reassure you that I would never leave. You and the girls are my top priority, and I never do anything to harm any of you. I wanted to convey that I'm committed to our relationship and willing to do anything for our family. Please understand that what happened with Richard was purely physical. You've always been so generous to me. Why should this be any different?" explained Emma tearfully. "I comprehend your sentiment and desire for our family to endure. However, introducing another man into our marriage is a betrayal. Infidelity has no place in our relationship. You've broken our vows, our marriage contract, and disgraced me and our children. There are consequences to your actions, and I cannot forgive this betrayal," Andrew retorted coldly. "Why won't you believe me? I love only you. Can't you see that? Why are you acting this way?" Emma shouted in frustration. Unmoved, Andrew's expression remained stoic. Emma repeated desperately, "It's you that I love, not him." "What is the matter with you, Emma? You've made me a victim of your betrayal and humiliation. That's not love, that's disdain. You've sacrificed our marriage and children for a man who is unfaithful, currently involved with multiple women in the club. How naive were you to think you were his only lover? Furthermore, have you thought about your future once he's finished with you in a few months? Your reputation will be tarnished, and only men seeking casual encounters will show interest. At your age, you are no longer seen as marriage material. I foresee a lonely future ahead for you, Emma. Your actions were not well thought out. Perhaps one day you will realize the gravity of your choices and the path you have chosen. For now, you must leave. My driver will take you wherever you wish to go, but you are not welcome in my home, Andrew declared coldly. You want me to leave just like that? This is my home too. I want to stay here, darling. I'll end things with him. It was a mistake. Can't we move past this and return to normal if you give me a chance? Please don't send me away, pleaded Emma. Well, this is not technically your home. The house belongs to a trust in which you have no part. The car also belongs to the trust and stays here. You have $3,000 in your checking account, the same amount you had when we married. No, we cannot go back to how things were until you rectify your situation. After your betrayal with that man, I can never touch you again. As per the divorce agreement, you must revert to your maiden name and cease using mine. You will have unrestricted access to the girls, but they will reside with me. When you chose to engage with your lover, you forfeited everything. How does it feel now, Emma? Was sacrificing it all for a fleeting thrill worth it? I hope the realization of your losses haunts you every night and the pain you've inflicted torments you for years. I love you dearly, but I cannot tolerate your infidelity. Your actions ended our 16 years together, Andrew asserted. Emma, still on the ground, felt desolate. Her world was crashing down, and she never expected Andrew's reaction. She had always gotten her way and believed he would understand her need for this brief fling. Emma now realized she had misjudged her husband, followed ill advice from Richard, lost her family, and shattered her once beautiful 16-year marriage. Andrew looked at Emma, holding back tears for the life and love he had lost. His love had turned to grief and misery due to her selfishness. He knew the pain and heartache would linger, but he saw no path back from her betrayal and disrespect. The aftermath. 6 months later, the divorce was finalized. As the father of our 2 daughters, I arranged and covered the initial 3 months in a modest 2-bedroom furnished apartment close to our previous home and the club for Emma. Additionally, I bought her a 3-year-old Toyota Camry for transportation. Though it was not required, I wanted my children to have easy access to their mother. The lavish lifestyle, including the Lamborghini, was now a thing of the past. Emma had sacrificed everything for a tennis pro who she would never see again. In a gesture of goodwill, I also secured her a job at the country club after dropping my lawsuit. The club agreed to dismiss Richard and assist Emma with employment in exchange for ending the legal action. Emma transitioned from a club member to a server, utilizing the job to cover her expenses. With no prior work experience or training, waitressing became her sole option. This drastic change from being a prominent member to a server likely brought on feelings of humiliation. Gone were the luxurious shopping sprees and weekend getaways with her daughters. Emma now had to manage her rent, insurance, and food expenses. For the first time in her life, she faced financial responsibilities and constraints. The weight of her choices and losses dawned on her, evident in her demeanor each time we crossed paths. Richard abandoned Emma once the lawsuit commenced, leaving her with no one to turn to. According to our daughters, Emma cried nightly over the consequences of her actions and the life she relinquished for fleeting desires. It took this upheaval for her to realize the depth of her mistakes and the foolishness of expecting acceptance of her selfish behavior. While I was disheartened by the turn of events, I encouraged our daughters to love and forgive their mother. They maintained a close relationship with her, visiting on her days off. Later that year, during a visit to pick up the girls, Emma and I had a cordial conversation. She expressed her remorse and sought my forgiveness for her actions. Andrew, I understand that we will not reconcile and that trust can never be restored. Nevertheless, I wanted to apologize and implore you for forgiveness. I now comprehend the pain I caused you and regret my past entitlement and thoughtlessness. My life was once carefree, and my actions were inexcusable. I failed to consider your feelings at that time. Today, I acknowledge the gravity of my actions and the suffering I inflicted upon you, and for that, I am deeply sorry. If I could turn back time, I would do it without hesitation. Losing you was the hardest blow I've ever endured, and the ache of missing you and your love is profound. The past year has brought about maturity in me, and upon reflection, I am astonished by my foolishness and the wreckage caused by my egotistical and self-righteous demeanor. I deeply regret my actions and sincerely plead with you to find it in your heart to forgive me. Andrew, I will forever cherish you and want you to know that you were the epitome of a perfect husband. Her apology was genuine, and I sensed that, with time, I might find a way to forgive her. My love for her would never wane. She had been my world, and my affection for her had spanned countless years, the kind of love that doesn't simply dissipate. Emma remained a radiant woman, and I had faith that it wouldn't be long before she found companionship and embarked on a new chapter. I hoped that she had internalized the lesson and would remain steadfast in her future relationships. Richard was dismissed from the club and ventured to South Carolina, securing a position as an assistant tennis pro at a smaller club on Hilton Head. Despite the change in location, it didn't take long for him to revert to his unethical behavior of pursuing married women. However, the repercussions in South Carolina were harsher compared to the city. His dalliance with one of the locals led to dire consequences. A month later, a local newspaper reported an alligator attack on the golf course, with images capturing an arm in the mouth of a 17-foot gator. It appeared that Richard had met an unfortunate fate while near the lake, encountering a mishap involving one of the gators. Richard, the former predator, had become the prey. On a solitary evening, reminiscing about our joyful family moments, I stumbled upon a thought-provoking passage. A man's biggest mistake is giving another man an opportunity to make his woman smile. I vowed never to repeat that mistake. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.